Hello everybody, Toastbomb here today, again talking about the Xbox One and one of the issues surrounding it potentially. Now there is this thing going around saying that the Xbox has to be connected to the internet every 24 hours, but they're being really dodgy as to what exactly that means. They ask them, okay, what are you going to be able to do? And they say, oh, you can still play single player games and do all this stuff when you're not connected to the internet, but then they say that it requires a connection every 24 hours, but they don't say what that means if you wait longer than 24 hours. So what does that mean? Does that mean that you, like, what are the consequences of that? We have no idea. And then they've also said in other articles that they're not doing that, and then in other articles that they are. Like, it is absolutely all over the place. Everyone is getting a completely different story. Everyone who asks is getting a completely different answer, so it's super unclear as to what this actually means. Now, this is potentially very, very dangerous for the competitive scene. Think about it. A company, MLG, AGL, anyone like that, or even smaller companies, they get a hold of hundreds of Xboxes and stuff them into a room. Now, are they going to be able to every day of that tournament, which is probably maybe like a 3-day tournament, Friday to Sunday, are they going to be able to every day connect every single one of those Xboxes to the internet so they can play in offline mode? Like, I don't think so. So that sucks for competitive scenes, right? For tournaments and everything. That sucks and shouldn't be a thing that happens. But also, a lot of people say, like, in the Midwest, don't have internet connection. They don't even have access to internet connection, so how are they supposed to get this thing? Also, there's a lot of people who can't even afford internet connection, and the reason they get game consoles is because they're relatively cheap for the amount of entertainment that you can squeeze out of them. Like, just think about it, like, if you bought movies and used that for entertainment, you're probably only going to watch a movie, once or twice, so maybe you got like 3 hours per movie, and every movie is pretty expensive. Even if you rent them, that's still pretty expensive, and you're going to be getting a lot more hours out of just buying a kind of expensive, $400, $500 console, and then like one game like Call of Duty every year, and squeezing hundreds of hours out of that. That's going to be a lot cheaper than constantly buying movies or other forms of entertainment. So that's a reason that a lot of people get these things, because they don't have enough money, and they probably don't have an internet connection either. So I'm really hoping this is just a big misunderstanding, and they're actually saying that you need to connect to the internet every 24 hours if you're not going to use the game disc, and that it's installed to your Xbox, which I think could be the thing that they're trying to say, but just totally not communicating it correctly, because they've already confirmed, we don't really know if this is true, but they've said publicly that they won't have an always online feature. While this isn't exactly always online, I still think it fits into the same category. And then also they've been saying they're trying to figure out ways to allow people to still resell and trade games and not have to just have fresh copies every time. So it seems like that's what they're doing, but I really don't know, and I really hope it isn't. And I just wanted to let you guys know that this is something that could happen and is potentially a really big issue with the Xbox One. At this point, it's still early on, so if enough people know about it, and that is the reality, the worst reality possible, and the worst possible outcome is the reality of this, there's still time to change that, because that's a pretty minor thing. This isn't like a huge hardware thing. This is more of a software level thing that they could just switch on and off. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. Also, there's another thing that was pretty concerning to me, and that is the Kinect has to be connected at all times. Now, the Kinect does come with the console, so you don't have to buy something separate like that. That would just be silly. But it does come with the console, but why does it need to be connected all the time? That seems really annoying, because literally I don't have a setup that works with this at all. Like, it would not work with a Kinect, and I would never use a Kinect ever. Now, I'm really hoping this means that it doesn't mean that you have to use voice commands. That would suck if you had to use voice commands all the time. If there was no buttons and you had to use the stupid voice commands, even if it worked, I would never use them. I do not want to do that. I just don't. That would be just terrible. And also, there's other concerns other than just me not wanting to. Also, say houses. Some people have loud houses, there's stuff going on. The Xbox might not be able to understand it. As good as it may be, there's scenarios where this thing isn't going to work perfectly and you're not going to be able to rely on it. Also, people will just come into the room and say, Xbox dashboard, Xbox movie, and just flip the games, like totally troll people. Also, that could be a thing at tournaments where they could totally troll people. So I'm hoping there's an option that you could turn that stuff off for tournaments, or if you just didn't want to have it like me. But regardless if there is or isn't an option like that, it's still annoying that the thing has to be plugged in, because what, it's just going to be plugged in and like laying on the ground somewhere. Like, I'm not even going to be using the thing, it's just going to be sitting there and be plugged in. So I'm really hoping that that is an auto requirement. Now, they did say that there will be options to turn off the sharing features of the Kinect, but to me, that doesn't sound like that includes the voice options. That just sounds like it includes like pictures. If a game takes a picture of you while you're doing something, it's not going to automatically share that to the internet or post it on your Twitter or something crazy like that. So that's what it sounds like to me, although I guess with their crazy, vague, like, wording, we have to take everything they say with a grain of salt at this point, because nothing seems to be adding up at all. So that could mean that, yeah, that includes turning off voice stuff, but it could not. So anyways, that'll be it for this one. If you liked it, you can leave a like or a comment, or you can subscribe, because I post new videos every day. Anyways, thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.